was this palace and this kingdom in the past, and the palace had many servants inside, and the palace also had a king, okay, a queen, that was his wife, and also they had only one son. One son. They never had any other children, and that son was a bit of a naughty son, okay, because he got spoiled. After so many years, they had this one son, and you know what happens when they get suddenly one child after so long, you tend to spoil it a little bit. You tend to give it what he wants, okay? Now this young prince has grown all the way up to, 10 years old, and the king and queen are already, well in their adulthood. And this palace is a very weird palace. Okay, I know it's a story. I'm going to relate the story to our lives in a little while, so stay with me. This palace is a bit of a weird palace because there's a magical stick inside this palace. And this magical stick, whoever gets hold of it, out of the three, they can control, and they can literally control the guards, and they can control the servants, they can control the cooks, and they can control whoever else is, not a royal person. Okay, so what usually happens here in this palace is when the king has the magic stick in his hand, they're all spellbound by him. He's the one who's the judge. He's the one who tells people what to do. And usually, the king in this palace has got a balanced mind. He's got a logical mind. He keeps things in place. And when the king has the stick in his hand, normally the palace is running well and fine. Okay? Because he keeps the queen under control, and he keeps the naughty prince under control, and he tells the servants to look after the things. There's a lot of work to do and so on. So the king gets everyone to do their work, and everyone obeys the king because he's a person of authority. And he's a person who's fair, and he's not too judgmental and so on. So he comes across very well with everyone. Now, what happens is the queen is always wanting to grab hold of the magical stick. And also the naughty prince wants to get it. Now, if the queen gets hold of this magical stick, what happens is she now gets command over the servants of this palace. And her approach is very different. The way she rules is very different. She gets the magical stick in her hand, and the king better stay away. Of course, the king's going to try and take it off her, but, she's going to have the power. While she's got it in her hand, she's got the power. And when she actually starts to exercise the power, what she does is, she's a very emotional person. And she's got highs and lows. And sometimes she goes off on a rant. She'll start telling off servants. Sometimes she's in a sort of sad and depressed mood, so she just wants to be to herself, and she just, all the servants just want to just be to themselves as well. Nothing's really happening. Sometimes she's really excited, and everyone's happy, in a very happy mood, and there's a lot of turbulence when the queen gets it. Sometimes she's focused on one thing, so much so in the kingdom that everyone's occupied with that one thing. Maybe it might be just, redecorating a certain room or something. Everyone's occupied. Now, other things will start, not being done on time because she's just got her focus on this one room, and all the servants will do exactly what she wants to do when she's got the stick in her hand. Now, of course, the best time when the queen has it is when she's in a very happy mood because everyone's happy. The servants are also happy, and people generally are happy. But then she will go down, and she might have anxiety, she might have worry, and that brings a bad mood to the palace because everyone's sort of worried, and it's her mood that transpires to all of the servants because she's got the stick. Now, the king, whenever he's got the chance, again, after a little while, he's going to grab the stick back again and take it, and once he takes it, everything's back to normal. He'll put things back to normal again. Like the servants will run around just as they used to before, and everything's going to be hunky-dory in this palace for a little while. And God forbid, if the naughty prince comes up and he takes the stick from his daddy, then what happens is Today is going to be party day. You understand? Because he's naughty prince. When he has it in his hand, by God, everyone's in chill out mood. Chill out mood. Everyone, wants to have their say. Everyone wants to do what they want. Everyone's got freedom all of a sudden. People don't have to wear their uniforms anymore. People can just, the servants can move around where they want. They've got, literally, the palace is like their playground now. And the prince, he loves it. Oh my God, bring him chocolate, bring him cakes, bring him pudding, bring him all the things that might rot his teeth and make him a chubby little child. He don't care. The servants will do what he wants and he's on a field day. And of course, when the naughty prince has it, the king and queen are, behind him trying to get it. And he's running around and all the servants are having a field day. They don't care because the prince dictates what they do at that moment. Not the king, not the queen. And at that moment, there's a bit of chaos. There's quite a bit of chaos. And if the prince has it too long, there's going to be a lot of chaos inside the palace. Until usually what happens is when the naughty prince has got it and he's doing his little, relaxation with everybody, usually the queen is the first one to get it off the prince. And sometimes the king. But usually the queen. When the queen gets it in her hand, what's her state going to be? Is she going to be happy or is she going to be angry? Tell me. She's going to be angry. Now once she's angry, all the servants are angry as well. Oh my God, what a mess. What have you done? This and that, and reprimanding the prince. What have you done? You get in your place, little boy, and you stop doing that and so on. So she'll go on a little rant. She'll be quite, upset with what he's just done. Servants will also be fired up because she's fired up and so on. And then after a while, the king will manage to get the staff again, the stick again in his hand, and things are normal again. Now, what happens, there's one more person I have to introduce to you, before I break this whole story up to you. The one other person that is in this palace who doesn't usually take the stick in his hand like that. He doesn't come and grab the stick. But it's only the king that is able to offer that and pass it to him. And the king has the power to take it back off him. Only the king can pass it on to him. And this is the wise minister. Okay? There's a wise minister in this palace. And the wise minister is the most wise of all. He's an old man. Okay? Long, lengthy beard. He's a wise man. He's traveled the lands. He's seen it all. He's read libraries and libraries of books. Okay? And this wise man is the wisest you can find out of the whole of the kingdom. He's the wisest man you can get. And when you need some words of advice, there's nobody better than to go to the wise man. But there's one problem, which is the wise man will be there, but the wise man is passive. He won't actively take the stick off you to dictate to you what you should do. No. He will remain passive. When the king comes and says, please take the stick for a little while and tell me how to rule this kingdom. When the king does that, then the wise man will speak. But of course, it's up to the king how long he allows that staff to stay in his hand before he takes it back. But when the wise man speaks, everyone's in awe of this wise man. Even the queen, the naughty prince, the servants, the king, they're all mesmerized by the words that come out of the wise man. And when the wise man says something, everyone knows that, that's the best thing to do. However, the battle begins again. As soon as the king takes the staff again, then the battle begins. The queen wants to grab it off, grab it off him, and so does the naughty prince. And it's a battle. Who's going to try and keep that stick in their hand? Okay? Now the servants are there, and they'll do exactly with whoever has got the stick. And there's always this case in this weird palace. This is always the case every single day. Sometimes you get good 3 days of the king having it in his hand. Sometimes you get some 2 bad rough days or turbulent days when the queen has it. And sometimes you get some other day where you might have a free day when the prince has it. And worst case is going to be if the prince can get hold of it and keep it for a week or 2 weeks. Oh my God, the damage he can cause. And everyone's going to love it. When he's got it, everyone's loving it. See, everyone's thrilled by the fact that the prince has got it. But they know as soon as it's handed over to the queen or the king, they know there's mess to tidy up. All right? Now you might think that what on earth is this story about? You're just wasting our time after Isha in the masjid and telling us some jackanori. Right? This is no jackanori. I'm going to relate to your life now. I'm going to relate to my life. Okay? I said to you that there was a kingdom. Okay? I said to you there was a kingdom. And in this kingdom there was a palace. And this palace had servants. Okay? Many servants. The hand you've got, the hands you've got, the feet you've got, the eyes you have, the ears you have, the tongue, the body, okay, the legs, the arms, everything that all these things that we've got, the fingers and so on, they are the servants. You all got that? They are the servants. When I said to you that this kingdom has got a king, a queen, and a naughty prince, what I meant by that was we've got a king, okay, this is our logical mind, a queen, our emotions inside, and the naughty prince, which is the ego or the desires we have inside, the passions and the desires we have inside. Or you can sum it up as the ego, the nafs, okay? Now, the stick, the magical stick, is the human's free will. The human has free will. We choose what we want to do. We can choose to become logical. We can choose to become emotional. And we can choose to follow our ego. That the human makes a choice of. That's the magical stick inside us. But all these three people inside us, that's us. All the three people inside us, that's us. Okay? Now, what happens is this. If we are balanced and we think straight and we're having a good day, no emotions are bothering us, no ego is coming in our way, no desires, nothing that's distracting us. Only thing is my logical mind says I should do this, yeah, I need to do this. That's when the king has got the power inside us. That's the king sitting in there. He's got the power to make us make logical decisions and decisions that are going to be fair and square. Now, once the king is in power, once he's got the free will, the magical stick, what happens is all the servants, the fingers, the arms and so on, all the servants and everything here, they will all basically do as the king wants. So when you've got a logical mind, your eyes will look at what you're supposed to look at and so on, and your tongue will say logical things. Like, you won't say things that are horrible to people. No, it will measure things. You understand? It will have it in control. It will control the tongue, control what you listen to, or control where you go, control what you touch or what you do. All of it is done by the king inside here that is in control. And who puts him in control? I put him in control. You put him in control. And you've got a king inside you. I've got a king inside me. Is that clear with everyone? Yeah. What happens sometimes is there's a battle going on inside us. And the battle is that the emotions sometimes want to take over. Sometimes we feel these emotions inside us. When it has the power, when it gathers itself, when it gets the free will and it goes towards the emotions inside the heart, let's call it emotions are up here, the heart, then the king has lost power. For example, somebody has, this happens, right? Somebody has just been, triggered off by somebody else, all right? They're cheesed off. They're really upset and angry. Now what happens at that time is that the emotions come on. Yeah. Huh? Now that time the king is not in power. The queen is in power. You understand? It's the emotions inside every single one of us. The queen is in power and the queen chooses to react. And because the queen that time is in power, the emotions, they take over the arms, they take over the tongue, they take over the eyes, they take over everything else. They take over the servants. Are you all clear with me? Right? That time when the person's angry, it's like, your whole body changes, it tenses up. You're ready for it. And if the queen becomes struck with anxiety, then the whole body gets struck with anxiety. The head lowers itself. The hands, arms lower themselves. There's always worry. There's worry. Look, king is not in power. It can't work. The logical sense is the one that could take it out of this anxiety, but no. Because the emotions are flared up inside, they take over. And if there's excitement, same thing. If it's happy, there's emotions here. The queen is happy inside here. I'm really happy. I'm really having a nice day. Yeah, I'm buzzing. All the whole arm, everything. My face will light up. Everything. All my servants, they follow the emotions inside me. Whether it's jealousy, whether it's love, whether it's malice, whether it's hatred, whether it's trying to have arrogance, whatever it is, it's all in the emotions. It's all in the emotions. And it has an effect on my body. And sometimes what happens is our ego gets the better of us. Now these are passions and desires we have inside us. They're not emotional, they're not logical, they are passion, desires we want to fulfill. We want to do something, we want to break the rules a bit, we want to do something that we're not supposed to do. That's when the ego takes over. And when the ego is taken over, oh my God, the ego is taken over. You understand? Like for example, someone sitting there and he's on his smartphone, whatever. He starts flipping over. First, the king was in charge. The king said, hey, whatever you look at is going to be okay. Yeah, fine. After a little while, somehow the prince took over. And now the person is looking at haram stuff he's not supposed to look at. And there's a field day. Their eyes look at things that they're not supposed to look at. The ears listen to things they're not supposed to listen to. The tongue talks about things it's not supposed to talk about. And there's a whole haram being committed because the ego is in charge and all the whole body is having a field day. And of course, like I said to you, the prince, when the naughty prince gets in charge and the servants are listening to the naughty prince, usually who gets hold of the naughty prince? Who gets hold? The queen. Now all of a sudden when the naughty prince has had his moment and you've just looked at things you're not supposed to look at, all of a sudden you feel inside you, oh my God, what did I do that for? Huh? Why did I do that for? I said to myself, I'm not going to do it again. Right? There's remorse, there's guilt, there's anger. Where's that coming? Who's in charge now? Who's in charge? The queen. The emotions are in function right now. And after a while, when that phase has gone over, and you're thinking, okay again, who's in charge? The king. You all got that? Are you with me? Are you guys with me, yeah? Alright, now. This battle is within us every single day. And if you want to understand what's happening to you, what are you doing, it depends who has got the magical stick. It depends where your attention is going towards. Who has actually grabbed the stick? Whoever you give it to, they will rule inside you. You can give it to your logical side. You can enhance that. You can give it to your emotional side, and that will drive you. You can give it to your ego side. That will drive you. It's up to you. So typically, for example, when someone is in love, let me give you a clear example. Sometimes these youngsters, they see someone they fall in love with. It doesn't have to be youngster. It could be someone who's old as well, yeah? You'll be lucky, mate, if you get it, yeah? You know what I'm saying? So you fall in love. The person is in love. Now the people around him say, listen, bro, she's not good for you. He says, she has to be good for me. No, she's not good. She's a woman who we see loose in the marketplace. She's roaming around. She's seeing boys, other boys. No, that can't be true. And even if he sees her doing that, she must be just shopping. That's all she's doing. And you're saying she's seeing boys. But we saw that she was shaking hands with another boy over there and she talked to him for 5 minutes. That must be her colleague from work. It must be someone she knows, maybe some. He'll make any excuse he can because who's talking? The queen inside it. Exactly. Emotions have taken over. Now what they're talking, look, see, when they're trying to appeal to him, they are talking from where? Their king. Their king, all their kings are talking to this person's queen. And the queen is like, I ain't listening to no king right now. I'm in love. And when I'm in love. I don't care. He wants to just fulfill its love. Okay? It takes sometimes a long time for this emotion to go down, and finally the person realizes the mistake they made, and then the king takes over and said, I told you so. I told you so. And sometimes what happens is, the prince, for example, you get these youngsters, you get others, you get people, even adults. They do things they're not supposed to do. Let's say, for example, a youngster he's got a bad crowd. Okay, they've got drugs or other things that are, situation there. What happens is easily the prince comes into power. Saturday night, out with friends, no parents are there. See, if the parents were there, the parents would act from their kings. Do you understand? The parents' kings would tell this son, you're not doing this. But the parents are not there. It's all my friends. And all the friends, all of their naughty princes are out. You understand? All of their naughty princes are out. Maybe one or two might not have the naughty prince out. Okay? But all of them, most of them are in a mood of let's go. Let's go and get a car. Let's burn the tires. Let's drive down there. Let's go and see so-and-so. Hey, he's got something there. Let's go to his house. And when they go there, the guy pulls out some stuff from underneath his bed. And then he says, hey, you guys want some? And the naughty prince is out in everybody. Even if at that moment this young kid came along, it's his first time, and his naughty prince says, shall I take that or not? And even if there's fear inside, and the queen comes out and says, no, don't take that, it might be dangerous. Even if that happens, the king is saying, look, don't do that. Even if all of this is happening, the naughty prince has still got the stick in the hand. And he could be wise enough at that time to allow the king to take it off him, but, most likely, he's just going to say, let me just try it. Let me show that I'm also someone who's brave, who's got the power, who's like these. I mean, if I don't take it right now, they're going to call me all sorts of names. They're going to tell me that I'm just a little, whatever. I'll be bullied after this. So he'll take it. That's the naughty prince. Even an adult, sometimes an adult does something, they do something wrong. They do some damage, and they'll do some more damage above that, and they'll try and hide it by burying the evidence, whatever. It's all the naughty prince inside. Now, I said to you, there's one other individual. The other individual was the wise minister. Now, the wise minister, one thing I didn't tell you about the wise minister is, how is he so wise? The wise minister has actually got a room inside the palace, and that room has got a closet, and that closet has got 2 books, and those 2 books are the sources of all the wise man's wisdom. He goes to the closet, he opens the closet, takes the 2 books out, he studies them, and when he speaks after that, whoa, it's game over. The king is in awe, the queen is in awe, the naughty prince just has to put his head down and say, these are the best things that we've heard. Now, who's this wise minister? The wise minister in us is this ruh, is the ruh, the soul. Each and every one of us has a soul. Soul is the one that goes out to the akhirah. Soul is the one that was pumped inside this body at the time of birth. Soul is the thing that will live on, in Jannah, in a different body forever. But this body is going to be gone. That soul is the ruh. The ruh is always inclined towards Allah and His Messenger. The ruh is always connected. Now the ruh has got what? When the ruh will take the Quran, this is book number 1. When the ruh looks at the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ or the Ahadith, when the ruh, the soul inside us, when it connects with the Quran and the Sunnah and it's filled in with that, it will only speak from there to the whole of the body. See, the ruh inside us is always connected towards the akhirah, always connected towards Allah. It's a good person inside us. It's the most wisest thing inside us. However, just as I said to you before, the ruh doesn't fight inside to try and take the stick. It'll only be the king or the queen or the naughty prince. But the ruh can have the king hand it over to him, hand the magical stick over to him. The king inside us can say to our ruh, what do you do here? And the ruh is the one, if you allow the ruh to expand, the soul The soul, when it hears the Quran, see, you know, when we hear the Quran, for example, and most of you sitting here, you might not know what the Quran actually means. Okay? But when you hear, وقال الذين لا يرجون لقاءنا لولا أنزل علينا. When you hear those sounds, then it's not your king that connects. It's not your queen that connects. Though she has a part to it, the king also has a part to it. It's not just your prince that connects. It's the ruh, it's the wise minister. Because that part of us straight away gets attracted to it. And the whole of the king, the queen, the prince, all of it is in awe when that happens. سيقول السفهاء من الناس ما ولاهم عن قبلتهم التي كانوا عليها قل لله المشرق والمغرب يهدي من يشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. When you hear that, you know what's content inside you? It's the ruh that comes into power. When you hear that and you feel calm inside, it's the ruh, it's the wise minister that suddenly has been handed over something. And when he's calm, and when he's dictating, oh my God, everything's in awe. You know, sometimes we come and we listen to something awesome. Sometimes we do some dhikr and we connect with Allah Azza wa Jal, whether it's in salah, in tilawa, just normal dhikr, just contemplation. Sometimes some of us have gone to the haramain. Sometimes some of us have felt very close to Allah in Ramadan. You know, all those times it happens. You know which one is really connected? It's the wise minister. And the wise minister, if you fill it in with the two books, from the two books, which is Quran and the Sunnah. When I say book, I'm calling the Sunnah a book, but obviously it's a collection of books. But when you fill it in and you take what Allah and His Messenger have said, the king knows, your logical side knows, your queen knows, your emotions know, your prince, your ego, all of it knows that, you know what, these are the best words ever. You all understand? These are the best words ever. And they fall completely, in front of it, submissive. But what happens is, very soon, the king will take it back again. And as soon as the king takes it back again, there's going to be a fight with the emotions, there's going to be a fight with the ego to take it over. Now, brothers and sisters who are listening, why am I saying this? Why I'm saying this is because we have got this battle inside us from birth all the way till death. This battle is going to go inside us. It depends who you put in charge. The best kingdom you can have of your body is when the prince is being controlled by the queen. So the ego is under the emotions. And the emotion says, hey, you dare take that. You dare take it. Now, if the emotions are controlling that. And then the king, our logical side, says to the emotional side, the queen says, hey, madam, listen. Yeah, you listen. You just stay where you are, okay? You just look after the prince. Don't let him get out of check. And you, wherever you are, you don't take the stick off me, okay? Let me tell you and the prince what to do, and let me control all these servants. But the king can't do it on his own. If the king doesn't connect to the ruh, the Quran, the Sunnah, if the king doesn't connect to all of that and take guidance from that, the king can be lost. Because there are a lot of people on this earth who've got a king working brilliant, but they've got no ruh that guides it. You understand? There are brilliant people out there. Don't get me wrong. They're balanced people. But they've got no soul that is connected to Allah and His Messenger. And if they haven't found that side, they'll still be lost without that soul, without the Quran and the Sunnah, without that closet that has got the two books that give the information to the soul. So if the soul, the ruh, okay, which is our soul, if that is under the Quran and Sunnah, and if the ruh is able to say to the logical side, listen, this is the guidance you need, rule like this. And the logical side is, okay, fine, I will control the emotions, and I will also control the desires that I've got. If that happens, then it's a perfect person. You've got fully control of yourself. You've got full control of yourself. And if you can carry this on from now on, when you've heard this, all the way till you die, then MashaAllah and Tabarakallah, you've got a wonderful life. But anytime you felt that, oh my God, I'm having a bad day here, you better know that something's gone wrong. Either your prince is taken over, or your queen has taken over, and you better get the stick back. Because otherwise, there's going to be chaos, okay? And some people, what happens is, they don't realize they're going through this battle. Some people just don't realize. There's been years and years of them functioning just with the prince. You know, like some druggie comes out, some person comes out of the streets, and suddenly he comes to the masjid, or suddenly he turns to the deen. You know, for years he allowed his prince to talk, to say whatever. Do you guys understand? You could be in the years. Some people, their emotions are in power for years. Whether it's a man or a woman. Look, I'm not being sexist in any way by saying that the queen's emotional one. It's just an example to get you in. But in my example, the men have got queens and the women have got queens, and the men have got kings and the women have got kings as well. Like in the story of Sulaiman alayhi salam, when Bilqis said, right, what do you guys say to this letter that has come to me? Remember that story? When she gets a letter, she says, what do you say? And you know, the servants, all her courtyard sort of ministers, they all say, and the army, they say, you know what? They say, we've got power. We've got the mind. We can take him on. They're speaking from where? We can take him on. They're speaking from where? Emotions. They were threatened. They had emotions. They were speaking from here, from the queen's side. When she said, let me send him a gift and see how he responds, she was testing him out. What was she using? Her king. And therefore she stopped herself from a lot of, a great war that could have taken place between her and Sulaiman alayhi salam. She did that. When you look at the lives of all the prophets, you will see that they don't have any of their whims and desires or egos taking over at all. That's completely under control. But their emotional side still doesn't get a chance. They're ruling from here. And the wise minister, they're ruling from there. And if you analyze what is going on. So for example, let me give you another example, yeah? If you're home and you're thinking, why is my dad speaking like this to me for? Just think to yourself. I don't want you to go to your dad today and say, Dad, that queen of yours, you better control her. Whoa, boy. You're going to get some slap, boy. But I just want you to understand what is going on. Because sometimes what happens is, when the mum and dad are in a little bit of a turbulence and they're fighting with one another, what usually is happening is they're both talking from their queen. You understand? They're both talking from the queen. And it's very strange. People can even change power, give different powers to different people when they talk to different people. Like, so for example, yeah, the man, he's in his house, he's like talking to his wife, he says, hey, what? And his wife says, what do you mean? And they're in the middle of a call and suddenly the phone rings. Okay? Suddenly the phone rings and he's got to take this call. It's from his workplace. Now, just now he's talking to his wife and he's like, what's leading him? The queen, emotional queen, right? Suddenly he takes the phone in his hand. He says, "Oh, Mike, all right? Yeah, how's it going? How's it going, Mike? Yeah, all right, yeah. Tomorrow, 7 o'clock on the dot. You make sure that you're there. Yeah, everything all right? Yeah, make sure. Yeah, I'll bring the paperwork down. You'll be all right with that. Yeah, don't worry about it." Puts it down. You. What happened there? Who was talking from there? The king. He switched it, right? King for that one, queen for this one. And sometimes what people do is in the same household, they can develop a lot of emotions for one person.